Let us continue reading the second stanza. Being the burning type, he burned properly at the cremation. What is the meaning of the term burning type? He was a passionate person, an intense person. I'm not sure what the poet is hinting at. Is the poet hinting at the fact that father was a passionate person, was an intense person? That father conducted intense romances, extramarital romances. That father had passionate extramarital love affairs. Tamil Brahmin men in the 19th century, in the first half of the 20th century, were notorious for locking up their women, their wives, in their houses, imposing all kinds of restrictions on them, and trying to prevent the women from having any sort of contact with other men. I don't know how far they were successful in their efforts, while they themselves openly, flamboyantly maintained mistresses. Is the poet suggesting that his father was that sort of a person? Be that as it may, the poet states that the central figure in the poem, the father of the poet, the father of the speaker, belonged to the burning type. Being the burning type, he burned properly at the cremation. That's the joke. The pun is on the word burn. The quibble is on the word burn. The first burn means intense, passionate, it's emotional. The second burn is quite physical. Hindus, especially Brahmins, do not bury their dead. They cremate their dead. The dead body is placed on logs of wood, and the logs are set fire to. And what are the nightmares of the close relatives, the close male relatives of the dead man who are at the crematorium? For women were not allowed to go to the crematorium. Was that the body would not burn properly. The pyre is usually lit by the eldest son of the dead man. And sometimes the pyre refuses to burn because the logs are not dry enough, or the logs are cut from a tree which is not mature enough. But in the present case, father burned properly at the cremation. The pun is on the word, the quibble is on the word burn. The first burn is emotional, the second burn is physical. The second burn means go up in flames. I think there's a word for it which I learned at school, but I've forgotten it. I think I've forgotten everything I learned at school except this particular word. The word is combustion. The first burn is emotional, the second burn is physical. A.K. Ramanujan had a lifelong passionate interest in words, their meanings, and the impact that words created on readers, on listeners. And it is this passionate interest which is revealed through these lines. The second stanza spills into the third stanza. As before, easily and at both ends. The poet says in the second stanza, being the burning type, he burned properly at the cremation. And then he moves to the third stanza and says, as before, easily and at both ends. The poet is not satisfied with the quibbling. He wants to continue playing with the various meanings of the word burn. Father burned properly at the cremation. Just as he had burned properly even before his cremation. As before, he used to burn easily even when he was alive. easily, and at both ends. Ramanujan, the professor of English, Ramanujan, the linguist, is visible here. To burn the candle at both ends. The idiom, I think, was imported from the French language. It means get up early in the morning, go to bed late in the night, work very hard to burn the candle at both ends. Work so hard that you get very little rest, very little sleep. But it can also mean, mark my words, it can also mean vigorously pursue two simultaneous activities. Vigorously pursue two simultaneous but differing activities. Perhaps the poet has this meaning in mind. Was he vigorously pursuing his marital life on the one hand and his extramarital romances on the other? Be that as it may, the poet believes that he belonged to the burning type, and so he burned properly at the cremation, just as he had burned properly even before his cremation, just as he had burned properly even when he was alive.